Let's talk about some other rumors that are floating around right now and maybe just wishful thinking on the part of a lot of fans in terms of some guys and even draft picks that may be available. We will start with Martin Necas. I think it was today Kevin Kurz put out an article about the potential availability of Necas. And yeah, it's kind of a cap crunch for Carolina. They have a whole bunch of dudes that need contracts.
They do. And they're also an organization where if they don't think a guy is worth what he's asking, they will trade him.
I think he would be a good fit here, especially if they believe he can play center. But even as a wing, I like what he brings. That said, doesn't make sense for the Flyers.
I can envision scenarios where it would. Like, I don't think, because some people have brought this up as a possibility. I think Kevin probably mentioned this in his piece. I skimmed that piece. I didn't read it in full. But the idea of like, well, you could just swap Konechny for Necas. And like, I don't know why Carolina would do that, because if they're iffy on signing Necas to a $7.5 million cap hit, do you really think they're going to give Travis Konechny a $9 million cap hit? Like, I don't personally. I don't think they would view that as a good use of the Necas asset to turn him into Konechny and then have the same problem where you're in a cap crunch and you've got a really expensive winger who isn't a superstar. I could envision scenarios where it could work, where you put together a package where, you know, you're trading away somebody on the roster, you're trading, like, it would depend on who they give up. I think that's really the key. He's not somebody who I'm looking at, I'm like, they need to get Marty Necas. But I don't think it would be a bad move necessarily, depending upon what they give up.
If Kelly could have been here today, this is her normal day, Tuesday. We're working on getting her at some other point this week. We may have done like a little wish list sort of thing, draft, free agent trade, potential acquisitions that we would like the Flyers to try to pull off. Would Necas appear on your own wish list?
He probably wouldn't be on the top. There are guys who I would be like Zegras would be above Necas. If you're talking about like guys who I'm like, man, I wish the Flyers got him. But he's not. He's a good player. Like, Necas is a good player, and he fits the timeline pretty well. He's got a dynamic element to his game, which I think the Flyers could certainly use more of. Like, if you, as much as I really, really like Joel Farabee, like if you swap Joel Farabee for Marty Necas, like I wouldn't hate it.
Interesting. I just wanted to, because Konechny is the like go-to, this is how we make it happen sort of guy. I just wanted to compare their numbers over the last 2 years. Necas, 52 goals, 124 points in 159 games. Konechny over the last 2 years, 64 goals, 129 points in 136 games. So comparable production, although 23 more games played for Necas kind of makes it look a little more even than their actual in-game impact has. Konechny's a better player.
Yeah.
Like, you have no problem just being like, yeah, Konechny's considerably better, and that's why he's going to make more.
Yeah, but also, I mean, there obviously is an element where Necas isn't getting the ice time that Konechny is getting. So I think Konechny's better, but Necas isn't getting the usage that Konechny is getting, and it remains to be seen how he would do in that usage. I don't know. It's one of the things that you are projecting if you trade for Marty Necas, and if you give up the assets that Carolina will require, you are projecting that if he was given a bigger role, his numbers and production would go up substantially, and maybe they would. But you're guessing. You don't know for sure. You know that Konechny puts up good numbers in that role because he's done it.
What do you think the chances are he can convert to center? Necas, that is.
I'm not even going to try to guess.
Okay.
Because I was just like, I haven't watched him enough.
I don't expect you to actually know.
I mean, I don't know.
How often does that happen?
The people I talk to they think he's probably better at wing, but I don't really have an opinion. If the Flyers scouts tell, Danny and Torts and everybody that like, he's a center, we think you can turn him into a center, then sure, give it a go. Centers are more valuable than wingers. I couldn't give you an informed opinion because I haven't watched him enough to have an informed opinion.
Fair.
When I've watched him, he looks like a winger, but he's playing wing. So
yeah. That's
Good. He looks like he's playing the position he's playing.
He's doing the thing he's supposed to be doing. That's we'll see what becomes of the nature stuff. I have heard people expect there's a possibility he could be traded before game one of the.
I saw Frank Saravalli tweeted that out.
Saravalli. I think it was on the DFO pod as well.
Okay.
Before game one of the final or during the final, this could all come to fruition. So before the draft, before day one of free agency, all that it might happen soon.
The fascinating part about that for me is that that would be our boy Eric T making the trade, because I do not think that Carolina, if they would make a trade before the final starts, I do not think they will have a GM by then.
And it's even if they hire a GM, this was once again reiterated on 32 Thoughts, I think yesterday's show. Like, some potential candidates have cooled on their interest in the job because Carolina is making it very much known you're here for your Rolodex. You are going to execute, but you are not final say guy.
Right.
Like, there is going to be a brain trust, and Eric T is going to very much be a part of that.
Yes.
So it's going to be interesting to see what unfolds down in Carolina.
Yeah, well, absolutely will.
This one I just wanted to get to mostly because it's Incarcerated Bob. We have a tweet from him from I think earlier today.
Incarcerated Bob.
Yeah.
When you brought this up, I was like, man, he's still in business.
He's leaned into the gambling space now. But he says, word around the insider NHL rumor circle is to watch the Sabres, who are currently cooking up something big. Then he hashtags the draft, free agency, and summer trades. Now, you mentioned Ottawa earlier as a Buffalo-ish team.
Right.
And they're these teams that it seems as if they're through the tough part of their rebuild.
They have the talent.
And they are drafting considerably higher than you would expect them to at this point. Buffalo is at 11, I believe.
Yes, they are.
I just see a great fit with Buffalo. And maybe it's because I want to take advantage of them and they have players I want. But, we did this a couple years ago. But if they just go Reinert instead of Ristolainen, something we talked about yesterday, like, team could look so different.
Yeah.
I think this is a team, whether it's that 11th pick, whether it's one of the defensemen, I'm looking at, it ain't going to be Byram because they like what he brings to the locker room. He's a winner, blah, blah, blah. It ain't going to be Dahlin. Could it be Owen Power?
I do not think they would trade Owen Power.
I don't think they would, but also I don't think they're a smart organization.
The one name that you hear sometimes brought up from the defense side with the Flyers is Matthias Samuelsson. Obviously, there's a local connection there. He grew up around here. Obviously, his dad, Kjell Samuelsson, like, there's a connection there. He trains down here, and he's a lefty shot who's brings the physicality. He's pretty good. Maybe he could be an option for a hockey trade. That's possible. I think ASF has reported a bunch of times. I haven't heard this, but I don't think he's making shit up that the Flyers really like Peyton Krebs. There's a possible target.
Is it Vince that loves the Peyton Krebs idea? Our boss Vince?
No, our boss Vince loves Alex Turcotte. Loves Alex Turcotte. Yeah, he loves the idea of a reclamation project, Alex Turcotte trade from LA.
And the final rumor I wanted to bring up today, I love when stuff is on NHL.com because it's just like, this is an advertisement. This is we want people to watch the draft. New Jersey Devils open to trading number 10 pick in draft. That's on NHL.com. Now, that's a team that makes sense because they're done rebuilding. Like, they won a playoff series against the Rangers last year.
Yeah, sure.
They want NHL talent. They want to chase down cups while they have this awesome pool of young guys. You think the Flyers have anything that makes sense for the Devils to get that number 10 pick? And then maybe we can draft at 10 and 12 and get Berkeley Catton and Carter Yakimchuk.
That'd be cool. I cannot imagine the Devils trading with a division rival.
Also, the Flyers and Devils do not make trades. They've made maybe 2 ever.
Really? Is it that
there
few?
Have been far more Flyers Rangers, Flyers Penguins. The Flyers and Devils rarely make trades.
Yeah.
It's something that does not happen that much.
Yeah, that's fair. I just can't imagine, number one, the Devils making that big of a trade with the Flyers. Number two, and this I think is the key.
Do we want to give them something like that?
No, not even that. More that it very much seems like Fitzgerald in those comments saying that, like, we want to trade the 10th overall pick. He knows what they need.
They need a fucking goalie.
They need a goalie.
The Flyers don't have one.
He's basically being like, hey, like, if I can get a stud goalie for 10, I'll fucking do it.
Yeah, that's the other
The
end.
Flyers don't have, like, I mean, they're maybe they would have interest in if their scouts really like Sam Ersson, maybe, but like they ain't giving up the 10th overall pick for him.
Like unknown might be good is what they already have.
Exactly.
Like they've already played that game. It hasn't, like, they want an established veteran who doesn't lose them games so that they can not miss the playoffs.
They want
again.
a solution in goal. They don't want a possible solution. They want a capital S solution.
Man,
and I think if they move the 10th overall pick, I think it will be for a big name, like a UC Saros or something. Like that I could see.
It's really just a shame for them that they don't have a goaltender.
Yeah, I mean, just
nuts.
how unfortunate.
Fucking
I hate the
it
Devils
just
so
drives,
much.
I hate them so fucking much, Charlie.
We all silly like the mayor.